Hey everybody, what's going on? We are back in some Dragonheir and we have a special guest today. Ivy has been kind enough to join us and coach us up a little bit. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I hit her up because she's been playing this for a long time and I don't know what I'm doing. So, real quick before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to Dragonheir for sponsoring this video. I appreciate them a lot. If you decide you want to check the game out, there will be a link below, or you can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now. I appreciate you guys checking out my sponsors. It helps me out a lot, and it's a great game, uh, aside from all of that, so you should check it out. So that's it. Let's get back to the video. We bought there's a pack you can get for 99 cents where you get to pick any epic in the game, and I believe it's this thing. So I'll do that
Yes.
again because she had to tell me where to find it because I thought it was going to be somewhere else. So if you come up in here and go into your pack and then the consumable
Yep.
and then the purple chest.
Yeah, because it's totally food, right?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely something you want to munch on. And then you literally just get to pick any epic in the game. And it feels
Yeah,
like
it's
a big
pretty cool.
responsibility and it feels like it could be a really big missed opportunity. So I'm going to pass it off to you now and you can start talking me through who's garbage and who are the ones I might want to consider.
Yeah, this was super popular the second this hit. Like everyone was like, this is the greatest thing the game's ever done because there are a lot of epics that are as good or better than legendaries, honestly. Like there's so many that you would just use over like the tank, like a tank, the epic versions you'd use over the legendaries. So it's amazing. I personally think there's one answer to who the number one choice is, but people playing season 2, and I guess probably for the future, what might I might argue that a little bit. So we'll kind of give a rough top 3 or so
Okay.
and some others. But I still, even after playing season 2 and knowing how valuable certain heroes have been, I would say Voresh is number 1. If you don't have him, you get him.
Okay.
That's kind of, yeah, down. Is it even alphabet? Oh no, you passed it.
Did I?
So I thought it was alphabetical. It's not.
Oh, there he is.
There he
If
is.
I click
Yep.
him, will it let me see? It will. Okay, cool.
Yep, you could check it in the gallery. So
Vorish.
he just brings everything. He is that full board AoE that hits 3 times on his ultimate. So he can be your perfect candidate to wear the Crown of Unclean or Witch's Remains, which provides defense penalty. Us coming from the raid community, we all know defense down is important, right? And
Right.
you can't get that as a debuff on a hero. The only way to get it is through an artifact, and
Really?
he's a perfect candidate for applying it.
Okay. Wow, it's
And
not a debuff
that's
on a champ, huh?
no. So like that wearing that artifact, one of those artifacts, the epic or the legendaries, on him is perfect because of his battle skill hitting the entire board. And then he's also going to pair very well with our free rare chest heroes that we can get. Sigrid. If he goes before Sigrid, he puts his buff prohibition debuff on every single unit with that ultimate as well. And then Sigrid becomes a full AoE damage dealer for any hero that has a debuff. Sigrid hits them with her
Wow.
full damage.
Okay.
So Voresh followed by Sigrid is such a good combination for especially like goblin runs starting out, which is the most important, honestly. When you're first starting out, you have to make sure you have a goblin team to farm, or else you're going to have some really crappy farm and getting everybody else up to par. So it's actually like a really he kind of works well with the fact that there's another free hero
Okay.
that you can get that. And then obviously buff removal can be really important, or prevention and other stuff, and he heals on his passive. So he
Yeah, I
kind of
saw
does
that.
everything.
He does kinda do
He
everything, that's
does
crazy.
everything. Yeah.
Okay,
I still use him everywhere in season 2 as well.
interesting. Yeah, he seemed that seems I don't know much about the powers of different champs, but that seems more like a legendary skill kit. That's a lot of things
Exactly.
he's bringing
Yeah.
to the fight. Okay. So Vorish is kind of the clear-cut recommendation, you would say?
Yeah, the other debate people there's 2 others that I would say there are top 3 that some people would argue I would be a number 1 over it, but I still feel like after playing 2 seasons, I still see the value a little bit more in Voresh because other people there's too many dependent upons. But Garius, the tank,
All right,
I
let's
think he
find
was a little
him.
bit higher up. Where was he?
Uh,
He is a top tier, especially for season 2 hero. There he is. He is probably the best tank in the game, like, maybe even more so than a lot of the legendaries,
okay.
because he does this massive heal with his ultimate, and he gains so much defense with his passive.
Oh
So
wow.
you just build him with a ton of defense, and he just heals like crazy. And then you give him ideally Garius plus the legendary Gatekeeper staff. Gatekeeper staff converts extra healing into shields. So he becomes a shield hero as well at the
Wow.
same time.
Okay.
So he's just like he's the top tier tank you could probably ask for in season 2 because it pairs with ice, radiance and ice, and the new ice blast heroes are so good for all the boss content and everything. And so he couldn't be better, honestly.
Okay. Sounds like there's a lot of lots of opportunity for synergies in this game.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Synergy is really important for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
that
is Garius on his own amazing without the gatekeeper staff and a game changer? No. But that's just the truth. But like once you can get that legendary gatekeeper staff, it's an absolute game changer.
okay. Yeah, interesting. I'm still using Horus, who I'm enjoying.
He's really good actually. He's very underrated. I think in the beta everyone was like, "Oh, he's crap," but he's actually extremely good and very like good survivability because of his passive.
Yeah, a lot of the times when I fail a run, he's the last one alive, and he's the last one alive for a
Yeah.
while before it ends. So I've enjoyed him. Um, but yeah,
Tanks are important, and that's the other one. I think Furboth. Do you have Furboth yet or no?
I don't think so. I've only got like 4 or 5 epics. I just pulled Deverick. I did a
Oh,
couple of summons recently, and I pulled Deverick, I think is his name, and then Questa, Clovis, and the
okay.
Clovis and Deverick I haven't even built yet. So it's really just these 3 epics that I'm using, and then my character that I made, and then Exandra, the healer, the rare healer.
Yeah, she's great as a healer.
Yeah,
She's really good.
those are kind of the only champs I have built right
Okay.
now. They're kind of my core 5 I take everywhere.
All right. Well, where's that Furboth? He's the other top 3 that I would
All right.
say plenty of people would argue are game changers. Especially given his utility as well. He's a tank that provides attack penalty. Where the hell is he? It
Hmm.
must be at the bottom. Oh, there he is, above me.
Right here.
Aha. Yep.
Okay.
So season 1 he pairs with fire, which is kind of what you start out with. You get those poison and fire heroes as well. And then if you get lucky and you get some really good wild heroes or the free hero Erich, the legendary that you'll get from just playing,
Okay.
that pairs with poison as well. So that's really great to make a wild team and have him be your tank. But yeah, he has a heal with his battle skill. He also dispels a little bit there, but based on defense, and then his ultimate is attack penalty. And in this game, having attack penalty on an ultimate that's 100% chance to land that you can time is really important for boss fights. Like that's huge.
Okay.
Like you always want that attack penalty before the boss does their ultimate kind of situation. Or if you're in Vortex doing that guild boss type battle, clan boss type battle, you could have attack penalty cover like 3 of the skills, so you're like you can balance out your damage mitigation and really survive the whole fight.
Okay. Interesting. And for the dungeons with the bosses where I would time this, is there a when I run it on auto, does it mimic a previous successful run, or is every auto run its own random thing?
Every auto run is its own run, so you have to set your timings for sure.
Okay. And but I mean, like, can I do that? Do you have to manually do every run, or when you say set your timings, is there a way to?
Yeah, there's a timing presets thing when you go to your like dungeons or
Okay.
any of the fights. You can manually set like when to use your initial recharge time 12 seconds, complete recharge time 20. Like
Yeah.
20
Okay.
would be the rotation. So if you wanted to get his recharge time down to like one of the 8 like, some of the bosses have an 18-second rotation, like 3 skills that are 6 seconds apart. That means you would need to get more skill haste on him
Okay.
or use something like there's artifacts like the incense burner. That's an epic artifact that boosts his ultimate energy. So like that would be something that you could do to improve his recharge time to keep it within the 18-second window. So for all the dungeons, like the Venom, Grave of Curse, Grave of Rot, all of those, that's where you have to like get people down to a quicker recharge time, or you can't do the proper timings if you need to.
Sure. Okay. All right. Very interesting. That'll be something to play around with because I hadn't noticed that, and I was thinking when I do stuff on auto, they do it very differently than I did it. And I was like, this is going to be tough in the stronger dungeons.
Yeah, it's not like some of the games that just like copy your last run for auto battles. It actually is unique every single time.
Okay. All right. Those seem like good options, but I do agree based on my limited knowledge. He seems like he's just doing so much more than anyone else I've
Yeah,
looked
I
at,
think
honestly.
the buff removal and buff prevention is really important against a lot of bosses. And some of the hardest dungeon content, like Ancient Battlefield, getting the highest level rune is really hard. And having him to block the boss putting up the increased attack buff that he does is really important. Plus, yeah, he brings heals at the same time.
Hmm.
Does a little bit of damage if you want him to as well. He's not like insane damage, but it's pretty solid and it's full board. And then the fact that he synergizes so well with one of the best DPS in the game who happens to be a rare and easy to get, I think it's just for me it's still the obvious choice because early game, I think he's just going to carry. Like you can use any tank, you can use any whatever, but like eventually like his he fulfills so many roles that I think he's still special and I still use him constantly. And also a stun set, this Holy Hunter set. You can put him in a stun set,
Wow.
and he's gonna
Okay.
have accuracy anyway. He'll have accuracy. So in this game, you need accuracy to land stuns at a stun set. You don't in raid,
Yeah.
but you do here. So that's one of those. You would have accuracy on him anyway if you had him in the artifact that applies defense penalty. The artifact needs accuracy as well. Plus, you would need accuracy to dispel a buff or to place buff prohibition.
Okay.
So it's like it's a really perfect synergy. He's key for me pushing the Fey Meander content as well that like kind of goes up and gets harder and harder and harder, or Pillar of Trial is another like really hard content that having crowd control can be really important, and throwing him in a stun set is just another addition to his utility. And even more so in season 2, they add a set called the Cyril set that when you apply a debuff, you increase the attack of all allies. So then you put him in a Cyril set if you don't need a stun set, and he just does everything.
Okay. Yeah, that just seems like too much to pass up on if I get to pick. And then we've got a couple other options for if anybody has been lucky enough to pull him early on, perhaps, and they're
Yeah,
struggling for
I'll throw out some
tanks.
other. Why don't you start at the top? I'll
Yeah.
point out
Okay.
some other in general that are like good to if you've got the people we've already talked about. I would say, hmm. I mean, Hedgio's a pretty solid rally unit if you need to pair. If you get lucky and you pull Filto, the legendary, or something fun, and you need a good DPS to pair with him, he's great. It's actually he's really good damage dealer. He'll out damage some of the legendaries as well. And
Okay.
he applies rally to other allies, so he's a good shout for the rally specifically as that type of damage
Okay. When
DPS.
what is rally doing exactly? I know it says some skills are enhanced, but what exactly does that mean?
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
the
kind of
thing. It's
vague?
weird. It's just okay, it's just like heroes that apply okay, I guess it's hard to explain because it is weird.
Yeah.
Multiple types of DPS in this game, right? Like rally, poison, wild, whatever. And rally just synergize together. So there might be someone like if the ally has rally, then this happens, or like if
Oh.
the hero has rally, then whatever happens. So it's really not that rally itself as a buff isn't doing anything, but it's like see like if the hero has rally, then he'll increase his damage by 50%.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
I
not
see.
even like really but like that you kind of need some heroes are terrible without that. Like Filto is this amazing DPS as a legendary, but if he doesn't have rally on, he's doing half the damage and it's just meh, like it's
Okay.
nowhere near that big huge punch that can like one shot everything.
Sure.
Like stuff like that. It's just a synergy thing.
Okay, so like theoretically, if I build a 4 or 5 rally champ team, they're just constantly giving each other rally. Is that how it might work?
Yeah, like you'd probably have no, I would in most cases you'd probably have no more than 3 because you'll need like a healer and a tank or,
Okay.
like some sort of support. But
Okay. Interesting.
yeah, usually you're always going to want more than one well, I shouldn't say always. Some people can hang on their own for some of those synergies, but rally is definitely one you want. You want an enabler. Like there's even a rare Ivania that can be an enabler, but
Okay.
definitely a synergy thing.
All
All right,
right.
let's see. You have Clovis and Questa, Yola. That's a good little line right there. All three of them are very good heroes.
Okay.
Um, Clo- Clovis, you probably won't use much in season 1, but in season 2, he becomes really valuable because there's very limited attack penalty on an ultimate options, and he has that, and that alone makes him valuable because there's not many besides legendaries that have it. So he's
Okay.
pretty great for that.
I,
But
I thought he seemed interesting, but I already had my dwarf taunt tank built, and I was like, I don't guess I need a second taunt
yeah,
tank.
you
So
probably wouldn't use. Honestly, I didn't touch Clovis season 1 at all,
okay.
and then season 2, I definitely did. Used him a lot.
And when the seasons reset, I lose everything except my champs, right?
Well, you get to keep, like, your artifacts, but they reset their level, the heroes reset their level, um, so you don't keep the gear, but you keep the artifact.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And then her, I'm
Yeah.
really liking actually. She's been
She's fun,
useful.
yeah.
Her thing where
Yeah, she
she,
brings a heal.
yeah, that's really cool. That's been really helpful.
People love her in Arena too because she jumps to the back and kind of assassinates someone, she's got that assassin style. But she can be amazing against bosses too because she brings the attack penalty too there as well, and, she's easy to keep herself alive because she heals herself based on attack. So she's actually a pretty cool DPS for, yeah. And ultimate energy reduction and stuff becomes really important in a lot of the big boss fights toward the end of the season.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
she's great.
then you said this
Yeah,
Iola.
Yola's, yeah,
Yeah.
Iola or Yola, I don't know. Or Lolita if you're odd one. He likes to make call them funny. He calls her Lolita. But yeah, it's an I. But yeah, she brings attack penalty too again on an ultimate that you can time with an AoE damage, and she brings a good aura, and she's crowd control with a silent stun situation as well.
Yeah,
So
okay.
she's really versatile, and she's a great candidate for Witch's Remains or Crown of Unclean as well because her ultimate hits 3 times. So anyone where they're hitting multiple times has multiple chances to proc that debuff from happening. So or to
Okay.
happen, I mean.
Yeah, she seems to that's a good
Yep.
attack lead too.
Yeah, it really is because it's all battles. So
Okay. Solid options.
and then I guess let's see. Corin's a good poison enabler if you pull one of the poison legendaries. If you get like, I guess there's a bunch. There's like Vicana is one that felt kind of mad to me, but with someone like Corwin, he can be put with a ton of skill haste and keep up max poison stacks the whole time. Like, so he's a really good enabler, but you also
Oh,
can use rares like Dench and some other stuff too. But yeah, he's pretty good
that's
at
a pretty
keeping up
cool skill.
poisons.
The spreading
Poisons in
them
this
when
game
someone
suck though. I hate them.
do they?
They just are very the poison heroes are very stat like intensive. Like
Yeah.
you need enlightenment and attack and accuracy to land them. And then if you want to hit hard, you need crit rate and crit damage. And oh yeah, you're like it's just like everything. It's kind of I hate it.
Yeah, he does seem interesting though. I like that passive. That's really interesting. Spreads
Yeah.
the poisons around when he dies or when the enemy dies.
And then I used Fully a lot as an epic, but there's a better one. Where the heck is Talonon? Have we not got to Talonon yet?
I don't know.
Maybe we haven't. Oh yeah, I guess before we where's Talonon? I thought Talonon was up
Oh,
higher.
down
Maybe
here.
oh there she is at the bottom. Oh, that's why I didn't see her. She's definitely like a top 5 option for a wild team. Tunnelon plus Erich plus Foley or plus almost any of the rares. Honestly, all the rare wild heroes are really good. Uh, as a person synergy, along with Furboth and Vortex, and then one other support, and you've got a really great like Hexandra, and there's a solid Vortex team right there. So like she pumps out a ton of damage, hits a lot, easy to build because she has extra crit rate kind of built into the kit, and yeah, she just hits hard and a lot.
Okay, I've seen you in a couple of videos say that you really like the wild champs.
Well, yeah, I have Flora, who's one of the top like DPS
Yeah.
for sure. She's one of the
Okay.
exclusive ones. But Erich as well, like Erich is you get him for free and he's super underrated. I think in again season 0, even a little bit of season 1, I think people kind of crapped on him, but he does such good damage when he's actually booked and people use him properly.
Okay.
That and they just all have such good synergy together, everything with like wilds, it's like they kind of some of them like increase the chances for allies to proc wild, or with Flora, she puts up a nexus, then every time an ally does wild while the nexus is on, it's all extra derivative damage, which is what she's all about. Like everything is just fun with the synergies. Like they're definitely boss made for bosses. Like you're not
Okay.
going to bring them into Goblin, but they're a vortex option.
Sure. Okay. I knew I'd seen
I
that
think
champ
the
before, and I was thinking, I know I haven't seen it in my account, and
yeah
then I remembered it was in one of your videos where you were talking about him. The name rings a bell after you said it out loud.
season 1 especially. Yeah, I really wild was my main team that I used.
Okay. Very cool.
Adolphus there that you're on, he's like pretty much a legendary, especially in season 2 as well.
Okay.
He converts excess healing is converted to shields. Like he
Okay.
kind of has that in his kit, like the what the gatekeeper staff does. Um, and yeah, he's just a really good shielder. And so him plus a Soul Day as a tank are a really good pairing because she puts up shields, then you have him go after, and any excess shields are converted to heals, so they can kind of carry your team. He's a really really good hero, and the new guy Elminster that came out with the D&D collab. People first they're like, oh, Elminster is just a better version of Adolphus, but not really. They actually would synergize really well together, more so than replace each other.
Okay. I was looking at the D&D guy yesterday, and he seemed really good to me, but I have very limited options, so I don't know how it
He
translates for
is
everybody else.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And the artifact that you can get for him is literally perfect for Adolphus as well.
Okay.
And then I can't not mention Zarloth down there, right next to Voresh. Zarloth,
Orloff.
Zarloth is yeah, he's a top tier for especially with Necro. He's a lot like Voresh. You hit season 1, Necro and Ice are together, and between Zarloth and Voresh, you've got AoE damage and heals, and like with a DP healing with a DPS, I just think is a really fun option. It just he does kind of a very similar thing like Voresh does with like that passive, and
Yeah. Okay.
his ultimate heals as well, and he's another he could bring some crowd control for stuff like arena, but he's
Yeah.
very good as
He
well.
seems really fun as well. And yeah, I see what you mean.
He was
Similar
one of my favorite
vibes.
heroes.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, they both kind of have like an like that. Yeah, they're DPS, but they heal and give a little support along the way.
Their champ designs in this game are pretty killer.
I know they're so good.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good amount of options. I doubt anybody's got all of those that's watching
I
this
know
video.
there's so many good epics that I haven't even mentioned, but it's like if I listed those people, I mean, yeah, that's probably one of those. Would be the safest bets.
All right.
Overall, they're all so good.
I'm gonna do Voresh. I think I'm pretty sold
Yeah, you won't
on
regret
on
it.
Voresh. And then the rare. Who's the
Yay.
rare you said synergizes with him?
Sigrid. She's the poison rare. See if you got her.
Uh,
Oh, you don't. So the blue
no.
chest that you get from the Welkin Path or the Walker's Trail, whatever. What the heck is the pass called? I forgot. Oh, there you go. The
Is this?
chest, yeah, the number 1 person to pick from the rare chest is Sigrid.
Oh, I
2
didn't even know I
chests,
had this.
1 video. Yeah.
Sigrid right here.
Sigrid.
Okay.
She smashes. Like, she does attack penalty, and she's the best healing prohibition hero in the game, and she's a rare. She does healing prohibition on her battle skill and her ultimate, and that's super important against some bosses like Grave of Rot.
Okay.
Or in a and, like, there's a lot of fun and but the attack penalty on an ultimate that you could time, plus it's all about that ultimate. If an enemy is inflicted with a debuff, she attacks them, so you have Voresh place a debuff,
Wow.
time her to go after him. The only thing is her passive makes her speed up. So, like, when an enemy with a debuff dies, she gains ultimate energy. So sometimes you purposefully have to, like, slow her down in Goblin, or she'll outrun the debuffs. Unless you've got a lot of debuffs in your team.
Okay. Yeah, 820% of attack is
It
pretty
has an
obnoxious.
AoE because if you think about it, as long as you're pairing her with the right people, another thing would be like, if you end up getting like Usha and you do a Frost team with Usha the rare, um, like Frost is a debuff, so like that's more synergy with that kind of like with Vorash, and
Okay.
there's a
Well,
lot
I'm
of
sold.
fun synergy in the game to play with for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on putting that together today. I'm farming like Goblin 3 right now, and I'm like, I feel like I should be able to
Oh
get a little higher
yeah.
than that by now. Uh,
Yeah, you'll definitely will with Voresh and Sigrid. You just might have to set your timers or delay them at the start.
yeah. Well, I appreciate this. This was very helpful. I learned even a little bit more than about the specific champs we talked about. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Very helpful. We're going to do something on your channel as well, correct?
Yeah, I want to see what I want to talk to you about your thoughts on this. It's been so long. I've known you forever, and it's about time we did a proper collab. So
Yeah.
let's talk games.
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to link our collab on her channel down below. Be sure and go show her some love. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see y'all over on her channel. And one last time before we get out of here, I want to say thank you to Dragonheir for sponsoring this video. Again, thank you to Ivy for taking the time. If you guys decide that you want to check this game out, there's a link below that you can click, or you can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now and check this one out while the Dungeons and Dragons collab is going. It's a good time to check it out. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. Later.